Hello, YouTube. So it's Labor Day. Labor Day. Monday, September 4th, 2023, 1:37 p.m. And oh yeah, I smashed the shit out of the new screen on my iPhone 7 Plus last night. That didn't take long. And part of me is a little annoyed at myself that I didn't remember once again to ask for a Gorilla Glass screen overlay. Although the way I slammed it on the ground last night, yeah, I really don't think that would have helped at all. I really don't. It just occurred to me I haven't checked Google Traffic yet. And of course I need to pull out yet another phone for that. Yeah, there's no service on the iPhone 7 Plus. I just smashed the shit out of the screen on. I didn't just do it. I did it last night. Quite a bit happened last night, and I didn't vlog during any of it, so you just kind of hear about it now. And I'll get to that once I check the traffic. It's a holiday, so I don't expect there'll be really any traffic taking the freeway to work, and I'm leaving in plenty of time to get there even in the worst of traffic conditions. But I just feel a lot better when I can look at it before I leave. KWSS coming in clear. Oingo Boingo on the radio. That's always nice. I hate the new version of Traffic View where they no longer display green on Google Maps because y'all really can't see that screen because it's just too dark for anything to show up. But yeah, so there's no bad spots on the freeways, but at first glance it just looks like I don't have Traffic View enabled. I really hope by the time I actually get this posted that Google has switched this awfulness back to how it's been for years. I just don't understand why so many technology companies and software companies feel the need to fix things that aren't broken. People get used to the way things work. You know, how the cold water knob is on the left and the hot water knob is on the right? Or wait, is it the other way around? I don't know. You know, I have trouble thinking of that on top of my head. All I know is that I instinctively grab for the right knob when I need to. And this time of the year, it doesn't really matter because if they were both working, they'd both be hot. And at my place, I still don't have the hot water working. So I've got one knob that gives me almost but not quite hot water, and then one knob that doesn't do anything. Seeing that Hyundai Sonata reminds me of a rental car that caught my eye. I don't know whether to say last week or the week before over at Hertz, but it's just this bright, rich metallic gold. Not to be confused with the metallic gold in my car, which is pretty average, bland, and boring. It's bright. It pops. It's like a gold bar or gold jewelry, and I've never seen a Hyundai that looks anything like it. If that's a normal color for a Hyundai, I would be shocked. I feel like somebody had it painted that color, which makes me wonder what the fuck Hertz is doing with it. It makes little sense to me. But anyway, I'm not sure if I mentioned this car or not. I know I've thought about mentioning it because it has caught my eye. And I moved it as a maintenance car. I forget what it was it needed, but some kind of repair that involved special ordering parts. We've got an area where cars sit when they're awaiting special ordered parts, and they get a hat on it that instead of being color coded, actually has a number on it, which I guess corresponds with the number of the parts order. Anyway, I picked up this, took this car down, moved it into a maintenance line, put a pink hat on it, and then shuffled it around the pink maintenance line for a couple of days, actually. And every time I get into it, I talk to it. Yeah, I talk to it. Have I mentioned that I talk to cars? I mean, I talk to myself and my smartphone, thus this YouTube channel. But yeah, I talk to cars. I talk to other inanimate objects. I think it stems from having watched The Love Bug at a young, impressionable age. And if you've never seen the movie The Love Bug, it's a Disney classic, way better than any of the crap they're putting out today. Starring comedian, well, former comedian, has been dead for many years, but then comedian Buddy Hackett. Great movie about a Volkswagen Bug that appears to have a mind of its own and does things on its own. And one of the more memorable scenes, well, in many of the scenes, Buddy Hackett's character talks to the car. And the car sort of responds. But in one of the more memorable scenes, and it might not actually be in The Love Bug, it might be in one of the sequels, because there were several sequels to it. None of them as good as the original movie, of course. Oh, and if you think The Love Bug is a Lindsay Lohan movie, I'm sorry, you can't be my friend. Yeah, that is a thing. That's a remake. That's a reboot. I've never even been able to bring myself to watch that crap. As much as I absolutely adore Lindsay Lohan. So anyway, in one of the scenes, and I'm thinking it might be in one of the sequels, Buddy Hackett is talking to, I believe, a Nickelodeon, or maybe it was like a coin-operated organ or something like that, and is talking to some other inanimate objects, and he explains why he talks to inanimate objects and how he feels they all have a life force within them, and it's already been determined that I'm insane, but I don't know. It seems like certain things seem to have that. At least that's my perception. And oh, I love this song. AJR Way Less Sad. This is one of my personal anthems. It's definitely in my top 5 most played list on my Touch Tunes app. And I have it on vinyl, which I'm not sure where that record is off the top of my head. Probably in my living room. I feel like I've only played it on the living room turntable, and probably it hasn't made it into any of my shelves. So, before I get distracted by great music on the radio, which is a nice distraction, I talk to the cars. I talk to a lot of the cars down at Hertz. And I couldn't not talk to the gold Hyundai. It just had so much personality with that unusual, bright, vibrant gold color that not another car on our lot, or that I've ever seen come through the car rental center, has. And I should have taken a picture of it at some point. I should have taken a picture of it yesterday. Although that would have been awkward. So a guy was returning it, him and I'm assuming his wife, maybe girlfriend, and they were getting their stuff out of it, and I just couldn't help but ask them how they enjoyed it. I felt something when I was in that car. Some kind of connection, energy, call it what you want. In the scene from The Love Bug, Buddy Hackett's character theorizes that this life force within inanimate objects comes from what the people that create it and own it and use it put into it. And I believe that. I believe that rubs off on things. And I guess that's why I cling to so many old things, like this stupid beat down old car and all my bashed up old smartphones and this kind of needing washed hat my daughter gave me. I can feel it sometimes when I touch old things. When I'm in the presence of old things. And that includes buildings and cars. And especially trees. Trees actually do have a life force. That's a proven fact. But don't let me get sidetracked on that. So, anyway, yeah, somebody came back. So the gold Hyundai, which I just called gold car usually. Like, hey, what's up? I'm back, gold car. Because I moved it several times over the course of 2 days. And then I noticed it landed in the area with a numbered hat on it where parts cars sat. Or, sorry, not parts cars, but cars awaiting parts. Parts cars are a completely different thing. And if you don't know what a parts car is, Google that term. Because I could get sidetracked for a long time talking about parts cars. And I don't have time for that at Mr. Work. Now, anyway, dude came back in the gold Hyundai, and he just said he absolutely loved it. We were talking about the gold car, and I just had to mention to him. It's like, yeah, I'm a maintenance driver, and I drove that thing around, just moving it around the lot for a couple of days, and I don't remember what we had to do with it, but it just recently got repaired, and that car's special. And he totally agreed with me. He's like, yeah, this is the coolest rental car I've ever had. He told me that he walked out onto into the rental car center, and generally speaking, the way it is with Hertz, you can walk out, and depending on what your rental plan or category of car includes, you can pick out whatever the hell you want. We got it. Just walk out there and the keys are in the cars. Start it up. Play with the controls. If you don't like it, move on to something else. But yeah, he said he walked out into the rental car center when he grabbed it, and that it just absolutely caught his eye. It's like, yeah, I need this. This is amazing. I'm like, yeah, I've never seen anything like it. Anyway, I guess I don't have time to explain what all happened last night. So, super short version before I sit here and idle my car and overheat the damn thing. There was no karaoke at the bar I can never remember the name of that I always want to call Carousel, and it's not called Carousel. Over on 43rd Avenue, just north of Camelback. So walked in, saw there was no karaoke. In fact, all the equipment was gone. The table that she should have set up, all that just gone. So as soon as I saw that, that was my cue to bounce. Didn't even talk to anybody. It was just, I just felt no reason to stay. I don't know anybody there. I've never really connected with any of the bartenders. Just, I'm there for Holly and karaoke. And there was none of that. So yeah, I just turned around and bounced right out. It's like, well, I'm on the west side on what is normally an amateur drinking night, was normally a busy bar night. And I'm sure some bars were busy, but none of the bars I went into were busy. In fact, one of the bars I tried to go into was closed. From there, I thought about going to Ain't Nick's, because Ain't Nick's is very close to Skipper's. That's what it's called, Skipper's Lounge. But I just kind of wanted to change it up and go farther away, because I had plenty of time and plenty of gas in my Saturn. So I went to... I kept driving north, and I was planning on going to Stinger's. I did eventually end up at Stinger's, but I pulled into Starlight Lounge, which I had completely forgot the name of and forgot the location of. But as soon as I got next to it, I'm like, oh, There's a pretty cool little karaoke dive bar over in that abandoned looking strip mall. I should head over there. I haven't been there in ages. Definitely well over a year. And I pull up and there's a big open sign, but there's no cars in the parking lot, and that's not a sign of a good bar. But you know what? If the karaoke host is there and there's nothing else going on, I will buy a beer and I will sit there and sing a couple songs and talk shop with the karaoke host while I try to decide where else I might like to go. And sometimes while I do that, like, some people come in that I find interesting. So I was down for that. But no, they left the open sign on for no good reason, because a lot of people can't figure out how to work the switches on those things. Something I mentioned in a recent video, where I rolled up to a little, I rolled up to a Hungry Howie's Pizza, and the open sign was off. I thought the damn place was closed. No, just the employee's too stupid to work the switch on the open sign. So yeah, open sign was on, the bar was not closed. There was a sign in the front that said that on Sunday and Monday they would be closing at 8 p.m. What the fuck kind of bar closes at 8 p.m.? Should have their liquor license pulled for that shit. Anyway, in the process of walking to the door, I managed to let my iPhone 7 fly out of my hand with some force. You'd think I threw it, and it smashed against that cement so hard that it separated the screen from the rest of the phone. I'm lucky the damn thing still works. And interestingly enough, even though the screen looks significantly worse than the screen on my 6S Plus, the 6S Plus screen was problematic before I dropped it and cracked it. And I don't think that the problems on it stem from the cracks in it. I think it was just a bad, poor quality replacement screen. Obviously not. I'm sure none of these are genuine Apple screens, but obviously an inferior quality replacement screen. And that's the one I got from Al down at AZ Cell Phones in Tempe. Whereas this white one, which I smashed the shit out. In fact, that whole bottom chunk is missing, and that stuff is loose and sharp. I was going to go over it with some packing tape and then kind of use an X-Acto knife to cut out the home button, and regretting that I didn't do that because I'm worried some of it's going to fall apart in my pocket. And I know if some of it falls apart, that'll stop it from working well. But at the moment, it still works perfectly, so I'm not going to change it out. I'm all about getting the last bit of life out of everything. Plus, I just spent more money I should have spent just fixing it, because without it, there's no way I would have found my iPhone. And on top of that, I had to find my iPhone issue, too. So Stingers was closed. I go north, went to, Starlight Lounge was closed. So I go another mile north, go to Stingers, had a great time at Stingers. Bastion's still hosting there, which I was like, wow, I can't believe you're still hosting here. And he looked kind of depressed and sad. He's like, yeah, don't fucking remind me. I'm like, oh, well, I'm glad to see you anyway. Had a good time hanging out with him. It was dead as fuck. And the few people that were there, I didn't really connect with anybody. And it was nice to see Bastion again, though. I haven't seen him in a long time. I did get to sing a handful of songs. The last song I sang before I just bounced out was Too Close by Alex Clare. And that's one of those songs that just, it's right in the range of my voice. It's very much like it's hard to say that I have a style of singing, because I do karaoke and covers of other people's songs. But it's just the way I sing. That's one of those songs that just fits me perfectly. And if anything, I come off somewhere between sounding just like Alex Clare, or maybe sound like the person that should have recorded that song. And I know I sound like I'm like really bragging on myself here, but if you've ever heard me sing the song Too Close by Alex Clare, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I knocked it out of the park. I was getting a lot of crowd reaction while I was singing the song, but then by the time I was done singing the song, I didn't get a whole lot of applause. I can't really make sense out of that, other than I think there are a lot of people that were there, with their friends, and they went back into their own conversations, and I was there by myself, so I didn't really have any friends to clap for me. So on that note, I left. I was already consumed my one large stein of Miller Lite and didn't feel like buying any more. I just went home. It was maybe 1:45 at that point, and I didn't feel any reason to stay up. Priscilla was texting me. At first she said that she couldn't go out, something about April, couldn't go to Gypsies because of April, and then she said she was at Gypsies. I don't know if that's a regular Sunday night routine. Maybe it is. My normal Sunday night routine for quite some time has been working, going home, going to bed, or going home, working on editing a vlog, posting it, going to sleep. Anyway, I had a Find My iPhone panic incident shortly after I got into Stingers and bought a big beer, which I was not going to abandon. But just my stupid self left it sitting in the car. The iPhone 6s Plus and the iPhone 7 Plus, which still works fine in spite of its horrifically looking busted up screen. Find My activated and said, hey, your iPhone isn't with you. And I was like, whoa, shit. And at first it made it look like I had maybe dropped it out of my pocket when I sent the 7 Plus crashing to the ground, which would have made sense that I would have dropped them at the same time and just not realized I dropped the other one. Because that's where it showed that I had lost it. But then Find My update, after I put it in lost mode, again, which is neat, I will always carry 2 iPhones from here on out for that feature. That to me is amazing. I didn't realize that feature worked like that, and I love it. I can't see myself going forward without it, the way I lose shit. Yeah, it popped up later, said, oh, your iPhone has been found. And I looked at the map. Well, it showed me an address, but it didn't show me a map. But I pasted it into Google Maps, and I'm like, oh, looks like it's in the parking lot of my car. And I asked Bastian to wash my beer, and I walked out, and sure as fuck, there it was. So yeah, all that panic for nothing. But hey, it's good to know that I had the tools to let me know that. Otherwise, I'm sure at some point later, I would have realized I was missing it in the bar and went into a completely different kind of panic. So on that note, I need to get my ass in and go to work. I'm sitting here like talking to myself when I said I wasn't going to do that, and holy shit, it's 1:59.